This is Indonesia, one of the most beautiful and complicated countries in the world. It has volcanoes spewing fire, dense forests, and stunning beaches. It is a unique country where over 270 million people live across more than 17,000 islands. Yes, 17,000 islands. Indonesia is the largest island country in the world, spanning over 5,000 kilometers and covering 3 time zones, from Sumatra in the west to Papua in the east. It is the 4th most populous country globally, the largest Muslim-majority nation, and one of the most ethnically and linguistically diverse places on Earth. But behind all this beauty, there is a secret. How did this country, spread across 17,000 islands, come to be? Who ruled here before it became a country? And how did so many different islands come together as one nation? And most importantly, how can you rule a country spread across so many seas? To understand Indonesia's story, we need to look back in history, because it is not just a country, but one of the most bizarre experiments in modern history, where thousands of islands, cultures, and volcanoes were brought together into one nation. By the end of this video, you'll understand how Indonesia has managed to stay united and how, in the future, it could also fall apart. Hundreds of years ago, these islands were home to some of Asia's most powerful and wealthiest kingdoms. For thousands of years, people lived here in communities, farming and trading across the seas. These islands were strategically located between 2 of the world's most powerful civilizations, India and China. Traders from both countries passed through here, exchanging gold, ideas, and even religious beliefs. As time passed, these islands became so important that great sultanates began to emerge. One of these was the Srivijaya kingdom on Sumatra. Around the 7th century, this kingdom became a powerful trading hub, controlling sea routes and collecting taxes from ships passing by. It became a center for Buddhism, attracting scholars from around the world. Later, in the 13th and 14th centuries, the Majapahit Empire in Java rose to prominence. This empire expanded across many islands and was known for its art, architecture, and governance. It followed Hinduism and became the most powerful empire in Southeast Asia. But empires don't last forever. As trade grew, new powers emerged, weakening the existing kingdoms. Local leaders began fighting each other, and soon Islam began to spread. Around the 13th century, Islam arrived through trade. Muslim traders from the Middle East and India, with their respectful behavior, influenced the locals, and gradually, many Indonesians embraced Islam. However, just as things were stabilizing, a new force arrived from across the sea. Some ships came to these islands not for trade, but to take control. In the early 15th century, Portuguese ships arrived. They were the Portuguese, and they were after something very valuable: spices. At that time, spices like cloves, nutmeg, and black pepper were as valuable as gold in Europe, and the Maluku Islands in Indonesia had them in abundance. These islands became known as the Spice Islands, and everyone wanted control over them. Soon after, the Dutch arrived with similar intentions, but not just for trade. They came to rule. In 1602, the Dutch established the Dutch East India Company, the first and largest international company of its kind. Its sole mission was to control the spice trade. Over time, the Dutch pushed the Portuguese out and took control of the islands. This marked the beginning of Dutch colonial rule. Despite all this, many Indonesians kept dreaming of freedom. By 1900, their dream turned into a movement. In the 1940s, the world was on the brink of a major war, World War II. Japan was rapidly advancing, and by 1942, it had taken control of Indonesia, which had been under Dutch rule for 300 years. At first, Indonesians thought Japan's rule would be a blessing, as Japan promised to free Asia from European colonial powers. But soon, life under Japanese rule became harsh. As the war continued, Indonesians began to see an opportunity. In 1945, after Japan's defeat in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Indonesia's leaders saw their chance. Sukarno and Muhammad Hatta declared independence on August 17, 1945, just 2 days after Japan's surrender. But the Dutch rejected their claim, wanting to regain control. This led to 4 years of brutal fighting, known as the Indonesian National Revolution. With weapons and diplomacy, Indonesians fought to prevent becoming slaves again. Finally, in 1949, under international pressure, the Dutch gave up and Indonesia became independent. But independence was just the beginning. Indonesia had to govern over 17,000 islands, countless ethnic groups, and dozens of languages. The real challenge was uniting so many diverse people. Indonesia was not a single country, but a massive puzzle. Some islands are vast and densely populated, like Java, which is home to nearly half of Indonesia's population. Sumatra, Sulawesi, and Kalimantan are large islands, each with its own culture. Then there are thousands of smaller islands, each with its own unique identity. The solution to keeping these islands together came in the form of the national motto, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, meaning unity in diversity. The leaders also selected Bahasa Indonesia as the national language, making it easier for people from different regions to communicate. Jakarta became the capital, and infrastructure like roads, schools, and communication networks were built to connect the islands. Despite these efforts, maintaining unity has not been easy. Regions like Aceh and Papua have fought for independence, but Indonesia has remained united even as challenges persist. Indonesia's natural environment has played a major role in both its success and struggles. The country sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire, home to over 130 active volcanoes. It experiences frequent earthquakes, tsunamis, and floods. In 2004, a massive earthquake near Sumatra triggered a tsunami that caused one of the deadliest disasters in history, killing over 200,000 people. However, nature has also been a blessing. The volcanoes make the soil fertile, and the seas connect the islands, allowing for trade and communication. But now, climate change is threatening Jakarta, Indonesia's capital. Running a country with 17,000 islands is no easy feat. It's like steering a boat through a storm where each boat is headed in its own direction. The country also faces environmental threats, from volcanic eruptions to floods. But despite these challenges, Indonesia has stayed united, largely due to its motto of unity in diversity. Today, Indonesia is home to over 1,300 ethnic groups and speaks over 700 languages. The spirit of unity remains strong. The government continues to promote the Pancasila philosophy, which teaches belief in God, social justice, and unity. Indonesia is a land of volcanoes, dense forests, spices, and diverse cultures. From the temples of Bali to the mosques of Java, from the jungles of Papua to the beaches of Sumatra, Indonesia remains a beautiful puzzle, held together by history, geography, and resilience. As Indonesia faces the challenges of the future, especially with rising sea levels and geopolitical tensions, the question remains, how will this nation of 17,000 islands continue to hold together? If you liked this video, share it with others, and don't forget to subscribe for more interesting topics. Take care.